Hi, I'm Richard Kingstone and I'm here in front of the Peel statue, which at the moment is boxed up, as you can see. And I've been feeling a little bit like Peel. I don't compare myself to Peel, but I've been feeling a little bit like Peel is over the past few months and years in my role as a Tamworth Borough Councillor. Some of you may remember that for 2 terms I served as Mayor of Tamworth, and behind me in our historic town hall is where I used to chair council meetings and the alike. But recently you may have seen reports on social media and the alike that I've ceased to be a member of the Conservative group. The reason for that is all to do with the way that I felt a planning application was held down at the lower end of Coton Lane. Now, I'm not going to go into the implications of that planning application, but I'm just going to talk to you for a few moments as to why I'm no longer a member of the controlling Conservative group here in Tamworth, but also why I haven't called an election. You see, morally, when somebody gives up a post within a political party, I've always stood by the rule that you should call a general election. Because, not a general election, a local election, a by-election, because you were elected, or I was elected, partly on a Conservative ticket. In other words, members of the public went out and voted for me, partly because I was a Conservative. Now that I'm not a Conservative, I see it as my right duty to remove myself from the council and allow an election to take place. But unfortunately, that's not able to happen at the moment due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So rather than calling a by-election, I've decided to remain in post until May of next year, when there will be an election, fingers crossed, if we can get out of the pandemic, and people can then choose whether, if I do decide to stand as an independent, whether they want to re-elect me or whether they want to go with somebody else. But the reasons for me leaving the Conservative group are quite complicated. A couple of weeks ago, I was called to task for some comments published in the local media and for letters written to my fellow councillors saying how disappointed I was with the moral viewpoint of some of our councillors. Because I happened to say how I found it, other councillors took objection to that and made formal complaints against me. At a hearing held using Zoom, it was decided after 2.5 hours that the members present couldn't vote in sufficient numbers to remove me from the Conservative group. The option on the table was to expel me. Although over half the number of people voted to expel me, 2/3 was required. That number was not reached. During the meeting, I was called a traitor. During the meeting, I was called a martyr, along with other things. So I decided the following day, as the Conservative group couldn't get the numbers to remove me from the group, that as over half voted to remove me, it was best that I wasn't part of that group. I decided I couldn't stand alongside the people that were making those accusations and calling me those things. I've tried to be completely honest with the people of Tamworth, and at all times I've tried to remain truthful to the people that elected me. In other words, I've tried to remain and do what the people want, which is fight planning applications, look after our streets, and all the rest of it that the people have asked me to do. I think that some of our councillors have lost their way. I'm not suggesting corruption. I don't think there's any corruption at all involved in this incident. But what I am suggesting is that some people have got a little bit too arrogant and a little bit too big for their boots, and they've forgotten what they were elected to do. So I resigned from the Conservative group and I am currently without any political party. If that makes me an independent, then I am currently an independent. As for the future, I intend to just remain in Mercian Ward, where I represent, and look after the views of the people who elected me. I will also attend council meetings and I will vote in favour of things when I see that they're good things, and I will challenge when I see that this challenge needs to take place. But for now, I will remain as an independent. And if the controlling Conservative group change and want to come back and have a conversation with me, brilliant, I'll have a chat with them. But people need to remember why we were elected. We are elected to stand up for the people of Tamworth. And at the moment, for some people, I don't think that's happening. Thank you for listening.